a new segment where I'm going to be looking at symbolisms of music videos from several musical artists. And tonight, since there was a new update from BTS's hiatus, that Jimin has done a solo music video. So we're going to do his. It's called Set Me Free Part 2. From what I know of, I think that Suga in his D2 mixtape actually has a Set Me Free as well. But it's not a continuation. But it's just a Jimin version. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And hopefully I can let y'all see what's going on with his music video instead of saying he's sexy.
And if you are not familiar with the concepts and stuff that he came out with before, please make sure that you go back and look, because Lexi did a full breakdown on the symbolisms and what she actually got from it, what she saw, and how she perceived it to be.
And this one will be just analysis.
Yes, just analysis, and it's really going to be interesting. I like to hear her break stuff like this down. It's very fascinating to me, some of the things that she sees and what she understands a lot of times. So this will be a whole new thing.
If first time reaction, I'm going to have to see the video first, and I'm going to pair it with the lyrics, and then I'm going to do some side research for things that kind of catch my eye that the video doesn't really explain.
Exactly.
So okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
And I started it too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only some of them have done solos, so this is gonna be new.
And this is actually a solo video, right?
Yes, that's what I mean. It's a solo. That has a lot of dancers, and they really can sing.
Well, of course. I mean, Jimin's gonna be behind it.
I'm liking the beat. It's catchy.
Yeah. They're all dressed in black as well, so got some white lights going on in the back.
Well, from what Jimin has said, there was going to be a black and white concept.
Okay.
Like good and bad.
I got a good time. Yet to get mine. Hammers me bro. Hell is it night. I never stop. I never stop. Yes, you with me. I never stop. Fuck you up. Finally free.
That's a first from Jimin.
Cursing. A curse word. Jimin don't do that in his songs, for sure. He's uncomfortable with it. Now, in real life, he may curse. I don't know.
Well, not really that often, but the only time I've ever heard him curse is when he's pissed. I love the points, because them pointing at him look antagonizing.
Yeah.
See, and the thing is, he sounds angry in this. Not completely angry, but he sounds...
He's definitely telling something here.
There's a lot of circles and squares in here.
Yeah. And you almost have to ask yourself, too, does the background dancers, along with it being a video just in itself, wonder if the background dancers are representing something?
That they probably are, because, I mean, from what it seems like with them pointing, it's antagonizing, and he's saying "set me free." It's the one I can really catch. I'm not looking at lyrics just yet. It almost seems like, his career, he's always being watched. The thing is it looks antagonizing when they're pointing at him and he's saying "set me free." And the thing is he, as a artist in the music industry, he's always being watched. Whether that be by haters, his fans, or even just people who just heard of him. Mm-hmm. And
also the people that he works for as well, obviously.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The thing is it's all spectrums of people who are watching him and antagonizing him in their own ways.
Him.
Yeah, judging, which basically. So that makes sense as to why he sounds kind of angry.
And two, then that probably is the significance of the group that is around him as well.
It could. We'll have to see the whole thing first, and then maybe put the words together and maybe look into some things, because I'm sure I'll have to look up several things in this video, because him and Suga are the ones that really know how to do symbolisms. They put symbolisms there on purpose.
And they pretty much pour out their heart and souls and their emotions, and they are very good at telling a story.
Because they're introvert, they easily think up concepts to communicate their message in a different way.
Yeah, without actually blatantly saying there's a problem, they can put the concepts and stuff in there. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, because Suga and Jimin themselves have said that it's kind of hard to put things in words, so
Yeah.
it's an interesting way.
It set me free. It set me free. It set me free.
I'm loving the lights, like, just dimming and lightening up, almost like a heartbeat in a way.
I can feel it's in the mirror.
Now, this, him being without a shirt, I know everybody's gonna be freaking out. The thing is, he's a human being. I think we've all seen nipples before on men. Anyway,
Chest, nipples.
the thing is him being shirtless. It seems like he's revealing more of himself, which is what he's saying. He's gonna be revealing more of his true self in this album. So that'd be a symbolism of that. But I really am curious to see what the words are on his sheer shirt. 'Cause I know he ain't naked.
I wouldn't think so. He's always been uncomfortable from what we've read. He's always been uncomfortable with being really showy. I know there's a lot of Army. I've seen the comments say, oh, he knows what he's doing. No, he does what he's told to do.
Because that's part of the contract.
Because that's part of the contract. That's part of... And initially, he was going to be the ab guy.
He was
Okay.
just going to be a dancer that showed his abs.
He was a visual in the beginning, and he totally took his position, was able to turn it around where he's not the ab guy, but he is probably one of the members who has really, really carried this band a lot. It's not just on him. I'm not saying he carried them, but he's pulled his weight and then some, and he proved that I'm more than just an ab guy. I'm more than just a visual.
Yeah, and
This
that's
is what
actually
I've
thanks
got.
to his band members, especially Suga, for encouraging him. Because they were telling him, you can be so much more than this. You have talent. And Suga trained him. And basically showed him what talent he had.
Yeah,
So-
and all the practicing that he has done throughout the years, he's gone without sleep. He is totally immersed himself in his craft, and he has mastered that. Okay, he's more than earned his place at the top of K-pop.
But I will definitely have to look up the words that's on his shirt.
And that is interesting. We want to see what's definitely being said.
I know it ain't English. Yeah, it's pretty pissed. It's giving me that energy. See? Still antagonizing.
Yeah.
And it's more people listening.
Yeah.
See, I thought that was interesting. Is people were antagonizing, and there's people behind them. See, those are the bystanders that see it, and
They don't say anything.
Well, it's not really that. It's just they're seeing it happening, so they're just gaining more attention.
I see.
So these people are antagonizing, bringing attention to Jimin, and these people who don't know of him or are not familiar with him, it brings their attention to him more. So,
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I love his hair like that. Just being honest.
And his natural color.
Yeah, it's natural color, but I love the length of the hair because, like with Suga, it really frames his face well.
Of course, ain't much Jimin really can't pull off. I mean, there's a very few people.
Well, I mean, I think he's trying to be more authentic because of all of this. He said he wasn't going to dye his hair anymore. Okay, now this is actually kind of interesting because in his dance video for Lie, he does that near the end of the song. He's lifted up and he's holding out to the sky, which usually means you're holding out to God. Because if you try to tell me he's holding out like he's holding out to a different person, well, if he's holding out to a different person, he'd be holding out to one of the dancers.
Right, or he would be reaching down trying to maybe hold on to what he's currently under. This box, this bubble that he's been forced to live in for all these years. So it's very interesting. You really got to look and see what's. I really want to know what
see.
that
You can
writing
tell
is.
it's a sheer shirt.
It is, because Jimin is not the person who is. He was not going to be perfect as the ab guy because number one, he is from what we read, he is very conservative. He's very traditional, and this is something that he is not comfortable with. But obviously, this is
a message that he's trying to give. I mean, and really, you think about it, it kind of reminds me of fake tattoos in a way, even though it's a shirt.
Right.
But you think about it, people get, most people, not the ones that tattoo their entire bodies, but people who get significant tattoos, like the ones he's had recently with the 13, the Nevermind, the Moons, and the Youth, and Young Forever, and all that. He has those on his body for an important reason, message. Even though he's not voicing it, those words have a message for fans to see if they do see it, which is kind of interesting to me, because it's kind of like that's a tattoo on him. Basically, it's a part of me. This is me showing more of myself to you. And
I think even though some of the tattoos that he does have may not seem like much, they may seem small, but I'm sure there is some representation or some thought behind it. We've looked into a lot of the things that his tattoos, the reason he got the tattoos. You can always Google and look stuff like that up. We're not here to actually...
And like I said, there's actually definitions behind the position and the body part placement of your tattoos, which actually really much makes sense, especially since he has the 7 on a pointer finger on his hand, which is almost like a support and defense in a way. So he's basically going to defend the other 6.
Right. 7 obviously represents the members in BTS. So,
and they all got one, which I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, they did.
I'm
And
so surprised.
obviously, and not to really deviate off of this, but nobody knows where Suga's is, and that's like a big thing that people were always posting. Suga, where's your tattoo? I think I know where your tattoo is. Show me your tattoo. But they did all get a 7 somewhere. So I think that was pretty good that they united on that front. So I think it's very poignant because this obviously was a span or a time in their lives where they were together for a really long time. Just them. And I think that the weight of all that they've been through together will probably be something that will resonate with them, and they will probably always stay in contact as brothers, friends, probably for the rest of their lives, because I'm sure some strong bonds.
I mean, because they've lived together like family.
I'm sure some strong bonds were created amongst some of the members, and I can totally understand that, because really they did not have access to their families like normal people would. So I mean, it's a huge thing, and I totally respect them for sacrificing
the adversities they've had to overcome.
I can totally respect that, on all levels.
But
I think he's been more heavily judged though than most of the other members. He's had numerous death threats. And
now, if anybody wants to say anything, well, this member's had them and this member's had them. No, he's had them most frequently.
Right.
I know they all have had death threats. Doesn't every person that's famous have them?
There's always somebody that threatens the life of someone famous. Because you just have creepos, psychopaths, narcissists, stalkers. I mean, they're everywhere. And I even me and Lexi was talking one time. I'm gonna go really, really short, but I told her, I said, if you ever got famous, okay, to the point where you performed somewhere or you written a book, but you got famous, I said there would be millions of people who would love you, and then there might be another million people who hate you. And then there's going to be these that stalk you and make your life a teetotal misery.
Actually, fun fact, a movie that perfectly represents that, the horror movie Misery.
Exactly.
Watch it. That is the definition of a crazy obsessed fan.
Exactly. And she was really in a good place, and she totally screwed that up. If you hadn't seen it, watch it.
It's really good.
If you have seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. And
we might put it on the channel later. Who even knows? But I do think that this is like definition of, this is a tattoo etched in my skin. This is truly me, and I'm showing this to you.
Yeah, it's a part of me.
Because typically a lot of times when you have tattoos on your torso area, it's very personal because it's easily hidden.
Right. It's just for them. It's not for show.
So this is at the core of me, and I'm showing it to you.
Right.
It's not about showing nipples. It's not about showing abs. I think the symbolism of it being a tattoo is what's really important. It's the fact that it is a part of him. Because when you get a tattoo, they become a part of you.
Right.
And they mean
hopefully you've put some thought into them, okay, and you haven't done something really crazy on a drunken bender as a dare, or just because you went out to a certain place on vacation and you grab one. I really am a firm believer in tattoos really need to be meaningful because they are a part of you for the rest of your life.
Well, it's usually why people get them. Now, I get it that some people do tattoo their entire bodies with things that they think are meaningful. The thing is when you get them subtly like Jimin does, they all mean something to him.
They mean something. And they are for him, okay? Because you don't usually see his tattoos. I think the one that you can probably see more than anything is
13.
the one, well, yeah, but then there's one on his elbow or something.
There's two of them. It's Young Forever on both elbows.
Okay, so there's that. So those can be seen if he has on short sleeves or something, but for the most part, he has those hidden, and those mean something to him. And if you want to look into what they mean, that'll be a totally other thing.
All right, let's finish this
Let's do
up.
this.
Then I'm gonna do the lyrics, and I'm gonna look at some of my curiosities, especially this, because I really want to know what that says.
This shouldn't be hard to figure out, I hope.
I don't know.
It set me free.
Wow. Wow, I love that concept.
Yeah.
I love that concept because he actually says that this is the final song of his album.
And I think it's very poignant, too.
Yeah, because the thing is, at the beginning, he was in all black, leather black. His bangs were covering his eyes and most of his face. Then we got to the point where he kind of showed himself a little bit. So basically he took off a black garment and he had no jewelry on. Nothing. And then, once he said, set me free, then he's in white. And he looks calmer.
I don't see any jewelry either.
No, but the thing is, there was a transition from the first scene to the second scene. He didn't have any jewelry on.
I see. Okay.
Basically, the thing is it almost seems like since it is part of his career, he is meant to put up a front of being rich and chic and all that.
It's like another persona.
Yeah, so jewelry gone, persona gone.
Right.
All right, so I genuinely loved that. That was really good.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah.
Is there any more?
Yeah, that's the end of it.
Wow, that was really good. I got some chills from that because it definitely looks like he's saying something. I was trying to read the lyrics that are translated at the bottom, so let's let Lexi look at that because she was trying to look for any types of symbolisms
Again, the circles. Okay, circles is something big here because they were constantly forming circles in this whole choreography. Okay, so that'll be something to look up later. All right, let me go ahead and look at the lyrics now.
Well, how about you mute it just this time where you can read it, maybe? No?
I'm able to focus on it.
Well, I'm just scared we're going to get hit. Yeah, now I understand those definitely represent all the stuff that's been around
Hold
him.
on. There's 31 dancers.
How'd you count 31? That is a gobbledygook.
Because I can count their hands.
Oh. Okay, so...
There's 31. That's 13 backwards.
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
That's 13 backwards.
But see, 13 on his wrist, is that not his birthday?
That's his birthday as well as the date that they had debuted as a team.
Exactly.
So that's a very important part of him. So he wanted it as his dance crew.
You'd think.
I wondered why there was so many people.
I mean, well, obviously you need that many people as well to, I guess, put out what is behind this song in a way. Maybe
Sometimes, but a lot of the others that with their solos, they typically don't have that many people in their back.
Well, obviously he's got something to say, and all those people represent those that maybe have been around him since his career started.
Especially since they're all in black and they stay in black. But then the fact that at the end of the video, he was in white and they were all down.
Right.
That was interesting to me, so I'm going to have to look at all this stuff again.
And I'm going to really pay attention to a lot of them as well. You had said that they're pointing. I wasn't paying that any attention.
Yeah, it was very antagonizing.
So it's like they're antagonizing him, blaming him, pointing out faults or condemning him or all the negatives.
See, but the thing is even though fans like to think they're supporting him, they give him his own feelings of negativity.
Yes.
Because, and I heard the word ops after F your ops. The thing is, ops means, it's slang kind of, that it's self-centered opinions about a person as well as opposition against someone. So, you think about it, self-centered opinions comes from fans. And then opposition comes from haters.
Right.
So, basically, he's putting both fans and haters in front of him saying, F you.
Yeah, he's putting them on notice. And that's not Army, that's toxic Army. There's a lot of level-headed Army members out there, but I think the majority of them are extremely toxic.
A lot of them are extremely toxic. If you've been on Weverse, they are toxic.
And anything that actually gets posted on social media, Instagram, TikTok, things like that, anything that's Twitter, all these things that gets posted, there are a lot of toxic comments. And they'll say that, well, they're not being toxic, but the thing is, it's constant judgment. It's constant visuals. There's no appreciation for sound, talent, the message. No, it's all visuals. And I tell you, a lot of times, me and her, we probably shouldn't do this, but a lot of times we get on there and we're like, we really thank you that you've managed to make this man who has contributed to a lot of people as part of a group, but to a lot of people who have said this group's songs have helped me overcome depression or self-hate or whatever. And you are basically minimizing them and bringing them to a visual. Okay? That is so narcissistic. It's what's that other word I use all the time about those people you used to go to school with? That were the ones that turn their nose up at everybody else.
Shallow.
It's shallow. It's tacky. It's not acceptable. And yeah, fans of anybody are like that. You've got them. Not all.
See, and it kind of makes sense, especially at the end scene where they're like grabbing onto him like zombies, and they end up covering him. So it's like, if you think about it, that negativity would be like a cloud over you.
And like I've told Lexi before, a lot of these people, I don't think more the Western artists go through some of the stuff that the K-pop people do, because I think they are managed to such extremes that there have been members of other K-pop groups who has actually taken their lives. They checked out. They thought that would be better than what they were having to endure by these companies. I mean, harsh diets, criticisms,
Verbal and physical abuse,
just constant working with hardly no sleep, hardly no food,
and isolation
from family and friends, and it's really, really hard. And people who go and they're in training, they don't all make it, but the ones that do, beyond that point, nobody knows what they go through. And I think it's much more extreme than what Western people go through. These people are totally isolated.
It's very extreme. Because the thing is Asian countries, especially when it comes to the limelight, they have very high expectations. But I don't think they really have a clue that their high expectations is very damaging to a human being.
It really is. So basically, these K-pop people, and I would say probably out of the 7 BTS members, I know that they've all lived in a box, but so much judgment has been put on certain members, and I would say that Jimin is one of the ones who has taken probably more judgment from anyone. I think that he has lived in a box and in this protective bubble for so long that now he has the freedom to speak
his mind,
to let out what he's been having to repress and to hold down.
Because you think about it, when they are disrespected or harmed in any kind of way, they have to smile through it, because apparently they're not allowed to feel any pain.
Right.
Because I actually remember something that happened. Now, I can't quite remember his name. It started with a J. I don't really know if I would pronounce it correctly, but he had taken his life, and he was a K-pop idol, and one of his best friends, Yeti from Red Velvet, she had basically mourned his death because they were best friends, and she was given a front row spot to see him off. And people said that she was trying to take the light from his funeral for herself.
But it was common knowledge that they were friends.
They were best friends. He posted about her all the time. They were always together.
So this is
and she was only 19.
So this is the toxicity, and I understand fans can be very toxic. I have never seen a group of fans that I felt were more toxic than
K-pop
fans, especially ARMY. I have seen so much shallowness, narcissism, judgment for people, a group of people that they don't know personally. And I can't imagine, what Jimin has had to go through. He is a very quiet person. From what we've read, from the way we've watched their shows and stuff, he's a very quiet person.
He's a very quiet person. But the thing is, a lot of them had said before, whenever there's something wrong with him, like if he's going through something, he usually doesn't talk about it.
Right.
Because he wants to deal with it on his own. But if he can't, then he would usually just go to Tay and they would talk about it. But other than that, he didn't talk about his problems because he felt like he didn't want to burden the others because knowing they had problems too. So
I can't imagine the the mental and emotional toll that these years have taken on them, and especially on Jimin, because if we've looked, the only person who has ever possibly mentioned, hey, can I still have my personal time, my private time, is Jungkook.
And that was just recently because people have been stalking him everywhere, including his gym. Why?
Yeah, he had to actually, was it Weverse he went on?
Yeah, he went on Weverse.
And he had to go on there and say, listen, I'm at the gym. Can y'all please just let me have some time? And it's the same thing. So I think this is really something that's very important for Jimin to say. And I can totally appreciate it. He did it in such a
elegant way.
Yeah, that I think that he's going to get his point across. And then some people may be totally missed by it, and they're going to basically focus on the fact that they saw a nipple.
Or they saw his abs, or they saw his Nevermind tattoo.
Yeah, that is something I guarantee if you go on any social media and there's anything, especially like on Instagram and stuff, people are fans and they'll name their pages after said members, or they'll take the name and they'll, just to make, because you have to have different names obviously, but they'll post these pictures or these videos, and if you go and look at all the comments, you might find one that talks about the talent, the lyrics, the voice, the dance moves. Everybody don't appreciate what has gone into making Jimin, and I'm gonna shout out that I think that he's being extremely brave to finally say, I gotta be set free from this. I gotta be my own person. And if you're gonna like this person or you're not, but I gotta be free from this.
And it's kind of shocking that he was the first one to say it. He was the one that got the courage up first to say that. Really, and you think about it, he's the least likely one to do that, which is why I think it'd be more shocking.
And you said too, this was the last song.
This is supposed to be. This is, he said from himself, because I was looking it up before we had gotten on to see what he says about it.
Right.
This was the last song of his album, so he's being set free at the end of this album. Right. So
it's a very good closeout on that. It's a very good last song on the whole album.
That last little bit with him finally turning the white after Set Me Free, it echoing in the back, it kind of gave me chills.
Yeah, I thought, and he has such a great voice.
And really what I kind of find interesting is the fact that when he's talking, he's talking to the toxic fans and the haters and anybody else is watching, he's angry, but then it's like Set Me Free. It was very airy, and it felt like a weight was lifted off his shoulders almost, because his voice was breathy then.
Because he's finally getting this off his chest. He's putting this out there.
And actually, I really love it because I heard butterfly somewhere in there several times, and then he did wings, like he's being set free like a butterfly.
Mm-hmm. And I think too that you pointed out the fact that he was actually reaching up, reaching for the sky, reaching for heaven, reaching for God, because he needs to be set free from all this toxicity, from those who love him, those who hate him, or those who think that they love him and those who hate him. So he's reaching out because he needs to be free from all that, and he needs to be allowed to be his own person. So, all
right, so let's see the lyrics.
All right, let's go with the lyrics down here.
See if I can put them together with the dance moves, if they have anything in correlation. See, his brow, his bangs covered his eyes at the beginning, and then they didn't. I wandered in a maze. Yeah, I mean, all that time he felt lost because he really said that he had felt lost and lonely all these years. Mm-hmm. So he was in a maze.
All right, exactly.
A lot of trials. I mean, if you think about it, when you're going through a life-size maze, there's no telling how many times you have to turn around because you've gone to a dead end.
And yeah, I mean, and I think that we all go through our mazes in life, but our mazes are not like
to the extent of his.
To the extent of what Jimin would have went through.
Because I mean, I really think everybody's maze is to a different extent depending on the severity as well as their class in the society. Especially with people who are famous. I mean, some of their adversities tend to be a little harsher, but of course there's people who's down on the dumps, like the very, very bottom, that have really bad ones as well. I mean, it's just a maze in general that you yourself have to become strong enough to overcome and find your way out. And apparently this is his message saying, I found my way out.
Yeah. So definitely he has some strength, some inner strength. No, we're not talking about physical here. He's got some mental strength, and he's got
spiritual strength.
The spiritual strength that he's finally going to be coming out of this, and I think that's really great. I'm happy for him. Really happy.
And really, what I found interesting, the fact, because I'm thinking back to it now, was before he'd been lifted up, reaching to the heavens and all that, he actually covered his face like he was almost taking a blindfold off, and then looking up.
Okay, well, I guess we'll get to see that again.
Yeah, they're repeating it. It's like, I never stop. You're trying to find your way out. You're not going to quit.
Right.
But, of course, there'll be times when you feel sluggish and you kind of want to drop there and just be like, I give up. But you got to keep pushing through till you find a way out of that maze.
Exactly.
See, and this is finally free. Made it out. See, now this, it kind of makes me think I'm at the edge, but I can't look back. There's that fear that wants to push him backwards.
Mm-hmm. And they created this little spiral here where he walked all the way through all of them and came into the center. Obviously, it's blocked, so...
Yeah, I'm sure, because I think that's a mathematical symbol. I'll have to look that up. I done forgot the name of it. It's been years since I've been in math class, and they told us about that symbol. But
well, she's been in a math class, but maybe they didn't focus on that symbol.
They didn't focus on anything that actually mattered.
Not in college,
But
anyway.
the thing is he was at the end. He was going to pass it, but he felt like he wanted to go backwards. But there's that fear that wants to push him back. I mean,
Right.
you think about it, a lot of times people do miss great opportunities in life because of fear. And he doesn't want to miss that opportunity to be himself instead of hiding in a shell.
And fear of the unknown. I know I fear the unknown, and I'm not in the position that he's in. So that, I think, is an absolutely true fear for a lot of people.
He made it through the maze, fly away like a butterfly. I mean, think about it. When butterflies are in a cocoon, they're caged in. But when they're fully formed, they come out of their shell and they fly.
Right. Well, after their wings dry, of course. But the thing is, the cocoon
You get
is...
my point.
Yes, I do. But also the cocoon is a transformation.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, and if you're in a maze...
or like a balloon turning into a flower.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're in a maze... and you're working your way out, you can't find your way out, and then now he's saying fly away butterfly. So the butterfly represents
The transformation. And the growth that he had inside the maze.
Right. So the transformation of him. So he's gone through a transformation as well.
And really, when you go through so many adversities back to back to back, you tend to learn, you tend to grow, you tend to toughen up. Especially when it comes to things that he's gone through. And I mean, really anybody can go through such things. And they go through tough times, but they grow and they toughen up. They get stronger from it. They learn from it. So you think about it, a maze, you have to learn throughout the maze in order to get out.
Right.
So you be able to memorize things, you remember things, you tend to sense things, and you can progress on your journey to the exit. So I mean, it really is a good.
If you can find your way out of the maze,
you will find a way out as long as you keep trying.
Yeah.
But thing is that's a good demonstration of his journey through being with BTS. It's really good. See, antagonizing, and everybody's looking.
I was trying to look at some of the words.
See the circles? They constantly form circles in this.
Yeah.
So the circle has to mean something. But you think about it, a circle has no ending and no beginning. It's continuous.
Right.
And it's equal. Some of his dance moves kind of remind me of the on music video as well as his live music video. Some of the dance moves are very similar. Like I said, I gotta look up what those words mean. Especially if he made it a fake tattoo. So it's both fans and the haters. I hope people are starting to see that he's frustrated by this and you need to chill.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's talking to the fans too, they're toxic. See, there's more people antagonizing.
Yep.
Seeing people are gathering around, they're seeing it. I mean, it brings attention, especially the fact that when BTS are going into the military, now America is getting that on the news because now it's been published in Korea. Now everybody knows about it. You point out something, everybody is going to know about it. Right. I mean, it's ridiculous the things that people do to get attention on this one person, whether that be for good reasons or bad reasons. There's still pressure on him and the rest of the group to have that kind of attention on them because they really want to live normal lives. And if you don't believe me, watch all their BTS episodes. They're doing things that normal people do because they want to do that,
exactly.
But they can't. They can't even go. They can't even go to the movies. They can't go to a concert. They can't go to an amusement park. They can't even go to a restaurant because they're going to be stalked.
Right. They can't go to a grocery store, and I think that most members all want pretty much sort of kind of the things that we all have. They just want some normalcy. Being in the spotlight, yes, there's going to be definitely some things that are going to have to be, God, what's the word for it? You have to, God, what is my word? They obviously have given up their freedom to be in the successful band, okay? So they're forfeiting a lot of their freedoms there. But when this is sort of kind of said and done, I think they want to just be human.
Yeah, I think because several of them had said before, especially Jimin, that they want somebody who is not famous because they don't want that light on them all the time.
Exactly. They don't want to live in the limelight. They all, I would think, maybe one or two of them may not want this, but and I know that Jimin's probably has been said that they want to be able to get married, have their children, and live their lives.
I mean, because the thing is I heard Jen say he wanted somebody that wasn't famous, and he wanted to just be in the kitchen with her cooking, not really going out and having to do all these things for a entertainment company that's even abusive to them. I mean, come on. Jimin even said he'd rather have a girl that's not famous, and he want to go on, some kind of like little walk in the park and having a picnic with her and doing things outside as a normal person, as a date.
Right. That we all can do now and never be looked at a second time.
Exactly.
But obviously he's not going to be able to take whoever he ends up with out on a walk on the beach or
because he wants to do like a walk in the park or a stroll on the beach with his girl, but he can't do that because otherwise he'll have paparazzi in the back.
People around him forever. And so the thing is he's known, they're known around the world. Okay. So he is not going to have that freedom. He's going to have to be set free from some of this stuff. And
sometimes they have to voice their concerns. And the thing is their entertainment companies sometimes wouldn't let them voice their concerns because it would make them look bad to their fans.
It could hurt that bottom line.
Exactly. But then you got Jungkook that says, you need to stay out of my business. I want to have some freedom for myself. I want to go to the gym without having 20 people out there with cameras on me. I mean, he just wants to go to the gym and do boxing. He doesn't want people watching him 24/7.
He's wanting to train. He's wanting to do his best. He's wanting to take care of himself.
And what's so bad is people were saying, well, he's a grown man now. We shouldn't be doing it. He's a grown man now. Well, so basically you're saying that you were going to invade his privacy if he was still young.
Right.
If he was still a teenager.
Right.
That's still unacceptable.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm glad that some of them are getting a message out there and saying, I'm done with this. You're going to have to chill.
Exactly.
was interesting. So, the people in the front are like crawling on the ground. They're frustrated on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then here's people that's directly behind him that's like reaching and pulling, and then the people behind them feel like they're holding ropes or chains on the ones in front.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Are you talking about?
Yeah. Because it's been set me free like 3 times. Another circle. He covers his eyes. Now he's looking up. Now they're gonna crowd around him like zombies. They're trying to cover him up.
They don't want him to be free.
Yeah, they don't want him to be free, but he pushes through. He's reaching out. See, they're trying. But they still go down anyway. Now he's in white. So basically, he's overcome this adversity, this pain. I love that.
It's really good.
Now, let me do some research real quick because I really want to do some research on this because there's some parts on here that I'm a little curious about. Okay, so here it says that the tattoo that was on him is a German poem by Rainer Maria Reich. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And it's German. I don't know how they use their pronunciations or their tongues. And it's basically, I'm not going to read it in German because I will butcher that language. But basically it says, I live my life in widening circles. I'll have to look that up later to see what the poem fully says. But it's actually kind of interesting because the cover of the album is water droplets and the circles of the water droplets spreading out.
Yeah, like how it reverberates or whatever. Yeah, and that eventually touches everything really that's in the water, the land, everything.
See, the thing is when you think about it, people who grow older in life tend to expand their knowledge. They tend to expand kindness. They tend to expand their experience. And the circles spreading out like that is actually really, really interesting correlation to that. And also, what's kind of interesting to me is circles typically, and I looked this up, and circles have a meaning of God's love for us. Basically, it's non-ending.
Yeah,
that's what circles mean.
Exactly. Never ending.
It's never ending, and it's equal because ovals are a little wider and shorter on certain areas.
So it's basically forever. Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because there's so many circles in their choreography, and then he's reaching up.
Right.
Like he's reaching up to God for help.
Right.
Which
free.
I've been telling y'all. To those of you who tried to say negative things to me because I had said that he's a Christian.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me see if I can find the poem real quick because I really want to see what the poem says.
And she's talking about that tattoos that were on his chest, which was really a sheer shirt, but with all those words on it. That's what she's trying to look up.
But yeah, but before I do that, since the circle has no beginning and no end, I actually found this was really good. It said, many believe represents God's love for us, which has no beginning and no end. In other words, God loves us through thick and thin, the good and the bad, regardless of what daily challenges we are struggling through. Literally what he was just talking about this whole song. He was struggling. He had good days and bad days.
Like we all do, for sure, yeah.
Alright, so let me look up, see what his name is. I'm sorry, these people have really long names. Why y'all gotta have 3 names in one? Alright, so here is the translation of the German poem. Now, it was also written in French, and he's actually a man that was Austrian, but he wrote the poem in French and German, and was actually a devout Christian. Anyway. I live my life in widening circles that reach out across the world. I may not complete this last one, but I give myself to it. I circle around God, around the primordial tower. I've been circling for thousands of years, and I still don't know, am I a falcon, a storm, or a great song?
Well, that says a lot right there.
That says a lot right there. That whole song, the whole premise of his album.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that was what was written on his body, was that poem, but in German.
Cool. That says a lot. It was the circles and
The
all that
reaching
stuff.
for God. The falcon. I mean, think about it. Even though it was partially a butterfly, but it could also be a falcon because falcons are birds that
Right.
wings. And really, it actually kind of makes me think the shedding of the shirt, yeah, showing more of himself, but taking off the jewelry and all that is almost like if you were to put something on top of a butterfly's wings, they wouldn't be able to move. So it's like the chains are holding him down. So the earrings, the necklaces were almost like a chain holding him down. It's like less weight on him. Took him off.
Interesting.
And like I said, he was in white, completely bare. He didn't wear any jewelry, nothing that was chic, nothing that was very rich, nothing that spoke that he was an idol of any sorts, just plain old Jimin in a white suit. And his bangs no longer covered his face.
Right.
And one thing I actually kind of found was interesting, like I said, before he reached out to God, it's almost like he covered his eyes like a blindfold, but then took it off and then looked up.
Yeah. And that's a good point.
I mean, you
too.
think about it, when you go through trials in your life, you feel like lost, you feel blinded, you don't know what to do. And sometimes you have to look for answers. So
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
that was a really good representation of Jimin's journey as Jimin of BTS. That was a great, great song. He lived up to his expectations.
I think he really exceeds anybody's expectations without even really trying. He just seems to be such a genuine person.
And that was what's so sad was because I saw it on the Weverse post of his before it had actually been posted on here on YouTube. The music video. He said, "I hope you like it. I've been trying really hard." And he hoped that he was going to do well because the other members had solos and they've done really well. He didn't want to disappoint them or make them look bad.
Yeah, and this is the way he thinks about things. He doesn't want to disappoint anybody. And he's had this pressure on him for so long. Don't you think it's time he was set free?
And what's so bad is part of the problem is the fans. They put a lot of pressure on him.
That's true.
They set expectations for him. And the thing is, part of the contract of being a BTS member is you have to satisfy your fans. They are the center of your world. Mm-hmm. So whatever the fans say, he has to do.
And we're not just saying, we're not making that up. Like, a lot of their Run BTS episodes
Are things that fans have wanted.
that armies have wanted them to do.
And then the producer said, "Yep, you're doing this."
Yep, we're
So,
doing this.
You're doing
They'll
it.
always go in to every show and she's like, okay, so what are we doing today?
Well, Army has wanted this, and Army said this, and we've had a survey, and Armies has said this, and
Yep.
they've had to circle their whole lives around Army.
Yep.
And the thing is Army is a big portion of the why they're all broken down on the inside.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he's able to finally speak his mind, and
I agree.
he did it with elegance too. He
Yep.
didn't cause any trouble. He didn't cause any scandals. He didn't try to be mean. No, he did it his own way. He did it with the song.
Yep.
And it's pretty easy. In my mind, I think it was pretty easy for me to understand the message that he was giving. I don't know about other people, but
Exactly.
that was pretty clear to me. But it was something that he needed to say, because that's like something you need to get off your chest, especially if you have some beef with somebody in the family. Mm-hmm. You so badly want to say it, and then when you finally say it, it's like
a weight's been lifted.
a weight has been lifted. So now you have gotten your point across, and if they don't follow your orders, then that's on them, and you're probably going to know what to do about it. But the thing is you need to get it out there so people are aware of what they're doing. The thing is the fans know what they're doing, but they try to act ignorant.
Yep. And some of these fans are never going to change.
And the thing is, even though I know you're like, we're Army, I don't care if you're Army. You need to give this man and the rest of his group respect and stop dehumanizing them like they're meat. And because they're human beings with feelings, with family, with fears. I mean, hell, he's been afraid to come out as his true self to these people because he's afraid of judgment from both sides.
Exactly.
And that's why I said he's basically overcoming that fear of being free and showing himself off.
Exactly.
Now, and not being provocative or anything, just being able to speak his mind. I mean, think about it, he hasn't been able to say much.
No.
Because if they say anything that's true to them, oh no, the fans immediately talk about it, and it's like, all hell has gone loose, and then they start threatening them and saying nasty things on Weverse or Instagrams. That's why they have no comments for other people except each other. Because there was so many threats on there.
And used to, you could comment on their stuff.
Yeah, no, you can't.
They don't follow anybody because let me tell you, if they follow somebody, everybody looks at who they follow. If they like something on someone else's posts, it is huge news because Tay had
accidentally followed Jenny from Blackpink.
From Blackpink. It totally was blown out of the water.
Yeah, people were insulting him, threatening him, insulting her, threatening her on both their Instagrams as well as their Weverses, and you're just like, why are you doing that? I mean, you are the ones that say, well, they should be happy with whoever they want to be happy with, even if it was an accident or wasn't an accident. Thing is you people keep saying they should be happy with who they want to be with. The thing is when you hear about something slightly, we need to know who she is, we need to know where she lives, and we're going to go there with axes and chainsaws.
Exactly.
Because you already start threatening them.
We're going to take her out and we're going to burn them at the stake. But that's the thing. It was something as simple as he followed Jenny from Blackpink.
By accident.
By accident, maybe. But even if he did it on purpose, it does not matter. She's another K-pop idol, okay? Mm-hmm. It literally blew everything up, okay? So now, BTS only follows BTS.
And their management.
And I say, when I've looked at it, I just see 7. That's all I see.
Yeah, the thing is, they follow each other, which means there's 6 others as well as HYBE.
Okay.
You said 7.
Yeah, well, there's 7 members. But anyway, they follow that, and the only people who can comment
is each other,
a BTS member, and that's it. Okay, and I cannot blame them at all.
I mean, you can tell when they get on Weverse, start their lives, they immediately take a deep breath. It's like, okay, here comes the hell. Because it takes a lot out of you to sit there and see all these comments spewing in of all this toxicity. Mm-hmm. Even if it is positive, I love you. Well, I want to sit on you. I want to kidnap you. Yep. You're so sexy.
Mm-hmm. Marry me. You know. Hey, I love you. Where's your dog? And then if they do a live, then there's people on there. Well, where's Tay? Well, where's J-Hope? Well, where's okay. If you're waiting for those particular members, then you need to go and wait until they go live, because I think it's sort of rude to ask the person.
That's about another member.
Right. For a person to go live, because I'm sure their management's like, you need to go live. And you get on there and you do a live and people are asking you where somebody else is. Okay, this is, I would love to say, and I know they can't, I would say, okay, if you're looking for one of the other members, then you're on the wrong live. Okay, This is me. And poor Jimin a lot of times brings things out there to sort of kind of direct a lot of his view, and maybe instead of looking at all these comments.
But basically what he's doing is he's distracting himself. That's the word.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets all these arts and crafts that he does for himself as a distraction. He wants to talk about things he wants to talk about, and he doesn't have to look at the antagonizing comments.
And he doesn't have to constantly respond, looking and trying to read these and trying to catch these and trying to respond to everybody. Because let me tell you, if they comment on each other's stuff, okay, it'll say within seconds, it'll say 10,000 plus likes, 10,000 plus comments.
And people on Weverse repeat comments. I don't know how many times.
Yes, they will. They'll copy and paste their comment, and it might be 15 paragraphs.
And it's so rude.
Copy and paste, because they want that one member to recognize them.
But it's so rude.
That's narcissistic. Why do you feel like you need
that recognition?
This recognition, because I mean everybody else that's there is a fan, okay, or a, what'd you call them? That negative,
a hater.
No, the sasaengs, the negatives, or the toxic armies,
the toxic stalkers.
Yeah, you're there for the V Live. He is he's being told that he has to do this. Okay, you're there to support him. Okay. Say hi, I like what you're doing. I hope you're getting rest. And there's some people who do say stuff like that. You rest well, be well, But there's people...
And really, honestly, comments didn't come like that until he had an interview a few years ago saying he wished people would check up on him. He didn't have those types of comments until he said that.
Exactly.
So nobody really notices or cares about his feelings except when they voice it out, which is why he wants somebody who notices his pain without him having to voice it. I mean, because you shouldn't have to tell people you don't feel well. You should look on their face and tell they're not right.
You should be able to look at them and say...
Especially if you actually care about them, you'd be observant of their behavior.
Right. You should be able to look at them and go, what's up? You got something on your mind? You want to talk about it? Can I help you with anything? I'm here for you. You should let me know. Well, I'll support you. We'll do this together. And, a lot of people... A lot of their fans are not like that, okay? A lot of their fans are not like that. And, Jimin definitely deserves...
he deserves so much better.
He really does. He deserves so much better. And I think that whoever he ends up with, I hope they're like him. They complement each other. And I think it'll be great. Right. There was some unpackaging here. But anyway, peace.